All right, guys, last week was week 11 in the EPL. We experienced a lot of games. There was a lot of emotions. It was a roller coaster of everything that has happened. A big team we expect to perform at the high level has always been inconsistent as they have struggled all through the season so far. And these are the reports of the games of Game 11. Game 11, Tottenham versus Manchester United. It was a 2-2 game. Then we experienced Fulham, Everton, and then Fulham, Everton. It was 2-0 in favor of Everton. We did West Ham versus Burnley. It was 3-2. West Ham won. It was Sunderland versus Arsenal. Sunderland has been showing a lot of good character. Sunderland has been playing with a lot of charisma. Sunderland currently is said by a lot of punters that they have the most concise and put together defense right now. And David Raya's target of probably crossing towards Van der Sar's highest number of clean sheets minutes, which was somewhere above 1,000, has now ended because the Sunderland game, he conceded 2 goals. So David Raya's run for that has ended around 450 something minutes. Moving forward, it was Chelsea versus Wolves, and Chelsea took that one home. We slaughtered the Wolves. We brought them to the bridge and we used them to make a barbecue, right? It was 3-0, and then Crystal Palace Brighton, it was goalless. And there was no real action in that game. It was Aston Villa versus Bournemouth. And unlike Bournemouth lost by 4-0. Aston Villa crushed Bournemouth down. And it was Brentford versus Newcastle. Brentford won 3-1, and Newcastle has gone down in the table. And it was Nottingham Forest versus Leeds, and Nottingham Forest won 3-1. And it was the game of the week. The game of the week that actually would have shown us who is running, who got the character, who has the charisma to run for the title, because the title, this is game 11, and the title race is just 38 games. That really shows that it's remaining 27 games. There's a lot of games there. I know it's new for anybody to declare who would run for this title, but the table is taking shape, and we have seen this over the years that whenever Man City is getting close to clinching the first position, and then they go crazy because they would actually get it. You know, they never stop. And now in the game of the week, it was Man City versus Liverpool. We thought, because Liverpool, in the same week, on Tuesday, the 4th, Liverpool played against Real Madrid. Now, the similarity, rather, between Liverpool's game against Real Madrid and Liverpool's game against Man City was huge. Not based on stats, but based on character, based on how they played as a team. Now, based on stats, if you would look with me, based on stats for Liverpool, Real Madrid, Liverpool actually didn't get the best of possessions because Real Madrid will always have the ball, right? So it was 39-61. 61 for Real Madrid and 39 for Liverpool. But if you look downwards, the big chances was created more by Liverpool. Liverpool had 4 big chances even while playing 39% ball possession. So they didn't need the ball a lot, but they used the ball a lot more than they needed to hold it. While Madrid was holding the ball, trying to run, Vinicius was messed up by Conor Bradley. Conor Bradley, to me, was the man of the game, or the man of the match for Liverpool versus Real Madrid. Conor Bradley put Vinicius on the leash and held him back. Vinicius could not do nothing. Vinicius was acting like a pet to Conor Bradley. I mean, at this point, we all now know that English teams are probably superior to Spanish teams. That's one thing I can actually put for note. That's one thing I can say to note. But expected goals XG in a game where Liverpool played 39% of ball possession was 2.51. It was over 3 goals expected SG of goals for Liverpool. That means they struck the ball, and they were not just striking the ball, it was with some force and it was a sting. They were going for goals, right, against Real Madrid. Now, fast forward to the game of the week that we thought was supposed to be concise, precise. Now, in the game of Liverpool versus Real Madrid, nobody spoke about, oh, the ref did this, the ref did that, the refs played in favor and all that stuff. There was no drama. Liverpool bust up the game based on attacking. Liverpool's attack was very, very precise and concise. I'll show you something about the differences that happened between Liverpool's game versus Real Madrid and Liverpool's game versus Manchester City. Watch with me. Now, in Liverpool's game versus Real Madrid, we would notice that the lineup of Liverpool's game versus Real Madrid, first of all, they played a 4-2-3-1, which is very classic. And now they played four of them. It was Konate, Van Dijk, Robertson on the left, classic, and Conor Bradley. It was Gravenberch, McAllister, and now it was Salah, it was Szobozlai, it was Wirtz, and it was Etekite. And so later on, they removed Wirtz and they put in Gakpo. Now, the question I'm asking is, because Wirtz played well for Real Madrid, I think was the reason why the coach wanted him to play against Manchester City. He was thinking that Wirtz has already picked up his form, but he wanted to play against Manchester City. Now, you should know, if you know English football well, that playing against a Spanish team does not resonate with the same force that the English team is going to play with you. The English team has a lot of force. They play with a lot of sting. The game is very fast, very quick, less dribbles, more of moving the ball. It is a go, 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 go kind of EPL game. Now, I would often say that you would have started off with a team that you are sure about. You would have started off with a team that would give you, or that has given you 5 wins in a row. And that team, you had Gakpo in it. Where was Gakpo in the starting lineup of Liverpool versus of Manchester City versus Liverpool? Gakpo would have been in that game. There was no reason for Gakpo to be seated at the bench. There was no reason for Gakpo to be a sub in that game. I know they're trying to put in Wirtz, give him a lot of time, make him play, make him show up, but dude is not showing up. There's a lot of pressure. He's also even given into the fact that he has said that the game here is very fast, it's very different. So he has to slowly probably move into it. But now the thing is, they do not play a warm-up when you are playing with someone as Manchester City. You can look at the stats. Currently, Erling Haaland is the most formidable striker right now in the EPL. Nobody stands him. I mean, someone who is at the top of the highest goal scorer right now, ranging 14 goals in 11 games, an average of around 1.08 goals per game. And you are playing with this type of people that is showing a lot of promise, that has picked up their form. And you are using a boy that just played 1 game during the week to still see if he would continue. It is a 50-50 bet, but it's not something that is really ideal to do. If you ask me, Haaland here has equal goals versus the rest 2 people under him. Imagine a player that has 14 goals, the second and the third place has 8 and 6 goals, a subtotal of what only 1 player has. And you come against such team, and you come with a team with an outfit that you are not really sure with, or you are trying to see and find out. They don't do trial by error. They don't do trials when you are playing a team as Manchester City. They do real-time players. Now, shout out to Erling Haaland. I call him the Viking because boy is viable. Boy acts like gas. He acts like fuel. If you lit something close to fuel, around 2 meters away from fuel, it will light up. This is how Erling Haaland is. Erling Haaland doesn't play. He sees the ball, and the only thing that goes through his head is how he can put the ball at the back of the net. There is no other explanation for this dude. He is phenomenal to the core. His consistency, this word consistency, is one thing you cannot take away. If you want to be someone who is a formidable player in the unit, you have to be consistent. So when you're playing with a team that has players that have shown consistency over a while, why are you playing with someone that is still, as the French would say, comme ci, comme ça? It's still likely like that he might show up or he might not show up. You know, that is playing a game of chess with your match. And you know, games like this speak to the bragging rights of the team. It speaks to the confidence level. Now you see that Liverpool crushed Madrid not by possessions but how they played, and the character is up and the thing is up there. But now they play against Manchester City and it was low, which takes me to this question: where is Liverpool? Because is Liverpool up and about, or they are just cruise control, or probably they're just out of the competition? When I say up and about, are they just moving without a direction? Cruise control is more like, are they slowly gonna get into it one way or the other, or they just out of the competition and like get the hell out? Because this is not the Liverpool we are used to. You know, Arne Slot won the very first season he came, but I kept on saying it. This was the team of Jurgen Klopp put together and just slightly finessed with a little bit of luck, and he won. But this is not the team of Arne Slot. Now, Arne Slot is trying to still even finesse Jurgen Klopp's, but now I think he over added ingredients that are not fusing together yet with that dough. So the dough is just falling apart. It's either the bread is too hard and it's breaking, or you can't really hold and it is just falling apart because of like maybe probably too much butter or something. You know, people who bake, they understand these things. So is it that he's putting too much, or the people that he has brought in to, you know, spice up the Liverpool team has a lot of PRs on them, but they do not really fit into the English play? Because Wirtz is not really getting it yet. He is not, honestly to God, he's not really getting exactly what he needs to do. And if it continues, I fear that he might go back to he might go into the second team, because there's a point to the said. Now Liverpool is struggling in a place where the people they want to use for the first team are underperforming, and the people that are playing as a support, like the second team, are overperforming more than more than the people in the first team. How do I mean? There's probably put in Isak, so Isak should be the star boy in attack. Who is getting the goals? Ekitike. Ekitike is the one getting the goals. Ekitike is the one giving the results. Ekitike is supposed to be the sub of Isak, but now he's the one giving the goals, and Isak has not even found one goal. And Malo Gusto has funny. Isak is yet to be put together in the Liverpool outfit, but Chelsea's Malo Gusto during the week last week scored his very first professional goal. Joe Gomez hasn't in more games more than Malo Gusto, and they're both defenders. Joe Gomez hasn't. Malo Gusto has just scored his very first professional senior goal for Chelsea during the game last week. The Chelsea won 3-0 against Wolves. Now, we'll look at the stats of Liverpool versus Manchester City. Liverpool versus Manchester City was more of Liverpool holding the ball, because it was 52% of ball possession for Liverpool and 48% for Manchester City. But the SG for goals was 0.61. So Liverpool was holding the ball without even doing anything formidable with it. So it was 0.61 SG for Liverpool for the goals, and it was 1.51, which is around 2 goals. It was 1.51, which is around 2 goals for Manchester City. And moving on with the stats, you can see that Manchester City had 14 shots ahead of Liverpool 7. Manchester City had 1 big chance. Liverpool had 2 big chances in the game where they lost 3-0. But that also takes me to another thing, another person that we want to talk about right here. A player that is now magical. We are bending towards seeing this player as the Hazard of Chelsea. But this is not a Chelsea player. This is a Manchester City player. And boy has quick feet. Boy does this whole thing where he does a drop of shoulder, he does the feint stuff, he moves his leg, I don't know what they call it. It's mind-boggling when he does that. And most of the times he does it, he would always or often get to you when he does it. Who are we talking about? We are talking about the one and only Jeremy Doku. Jeremy Doku, born Ghanaian, plays for Belgium, and now he's also playing for Manchester City. Jeremy Doku was, it was more like Manchester City had 11 players, but Jeremy Doku decided to take it as a personal problem to humiliate, that's the word, humiliate Liverpool. He literally ran around the whole of the arc from the left wing. He ran around from the midfield. You see Jeremy Doku's work rate. His work rate was around the left part of the whole field, and he was busting it. Like, it was more like, oh, let me teach Vinicius what he couldn't do to Conor Bradley. Jeremy Doku put Conor Bradley in his pocket. Jeremy Doku used Conor Bradley as a shield against his own goalkeeper. Jeremy Doku dribbled Conor Bradley until Conor Bradley was confused. Jeremy Doku was too much sauce, too much. Jeremy Doku was too spicy in that game. Jeremy Doku was a thorn in the flesh of Liverpool, for real. Like, in that game, I mean, he came out with the XG of 9.0. He was definitely the man of the match. Imagine a game where a player got the man of the match and Jeremy Doku was taken away from the game around 74 minutes precisely. So at 74 minutes, boy already scored a 9/10. That tells you that he just stole the whole show. The whole show last weekend was all about Jeremy Doku. Jeremy Doku did what Vinicius couldn't do, ran around, created problems, created the first penalty, still assisted a goal, and then scored a goal. He played a complete performance. It was a complete performance by Jeremy Doku. So shout out to Jeremy Doku. That was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful performance. Performances like this is the reason why people show up, at the stadium and want to watch the game of soccer. Now, there's something that happened during that game that also pissed Liverpool fans off. It pissed them off. But why I do not want to hit on that was, if you look at the whole stats of the game, regardless of that thing that happened, Liverpool was almost nowhere to be found. But they say, hey, this is soccer. If we had this goal, probably it would have stirred up the way the boys play. We would have performed. I do not want to believe that there is something done against Liverpool. There is an agenda, that's the word, against Liverpool, because last season, even when the referee actually blowed against Liverpool in a game when they fouled Luis Diaz, when that happened, Liverpool still won the league regardless. But Liverpool has now lost 7 over 10 games. And you want to tell me that there's an agenda to push down Liverpool? How? They are not performing. They are not showing that they are the boss of this thing right now. And other teams can perceive the inconsistencies. Other teams can perceive their fear, and they're using it against them. And your feedback is there is an agenda. That means everybody is working against Liverpool. That's what you're trying to say. I want to say this. So now when it comes to that goal, there was a corner kick, crossed in, Van Dijk heads the ball. It was a sweet header by Van Dijk. I'll go into Van Dijk though. Then something happened when he headed the ball. So there was Jeremy Doku in the picture, and then there was Robertson right behind Jeremy Doku, but somewhere on the left of Jeremy Doku, and this was happening around like one third of the goalpost, So this is the goalpost, and this was where it was happening, just 1/3 of it, and there was already Jeremy Doku here. and the keeper was in between like Jeremy Doku and then Robertson. Robertson was already in an offside position while Van Dijk had already gnawed the ball, while Van Dijk headed the ball. Now, this is it. Now, this is about the rules of the game when it comes to things like that. The rules of the game states, and I would say the offside interfering with an opponent states a player will be penalized if they are preventing an opponent from playing or being able to play the ball by clearly obstructing the opponent's line of vision, or challenging an opponent for the ball, or clearly attempting to play the ball which is close when this action impacts on an opponent, or making an obvious action which clearly impacts on the ability of an opponent to play the ball. So from this that I've read, the first and the last one was what actually stopped the goal from being counted against Liverpool, right? Or for the goal to be counted, the Liverpool goal to be counted, because now what they say here is making an obvious action which clearly impacts the ability of an opponent to play the ball. So Robertson had to duck for the ball to go over him. So that alone was the ability to clearly impact the ball clearly impact the opponent from playing the ball. That was one of it. And then the very first one that was said was preventing an opponent from playing or being able to play the ball by clearly obstructing the opponent line of vision. So the line of vision was the ball was going towards the keeper's left, and Robertson was directly on the keeper's left, and the ball crossed, and it wasn't that Robertson moved sideways. Robertson ducked, which means the ball would have gone through Robertson. It would have hit Robertson, and that would have been an offside. So Robertson ducking means this ball would have hit me, so I'm ducking so that it could go into the net, right? So that is also a clear line of vision blocking. You are blocking the keeper's line of vision. And you see, as an experienced keeper, as Donnarumma runs, to object. That's not a goal. That's not a goal. He runs to object. So what are we saying from this? Regardless of what the call is going to be, it is up to how the referee perceives it, what the angles is, if the angles are going to be in favor of you, because one of the angles that showed up during the game was nothing favorable to Liverpool. And you cannot blame it. And also, it was more like Liverpool was looking for every and anything to leverage on. Stop leveraging on the fact that you think that someone is trying to hold you guys back. Nobody is trying to hold Liverpool back, if you ask me. If Liverpool plays well, they will see results. If they play consistently well, they will definitely be going for the title too. So we cannot totally write Liverpool off, but we cannot say for sure that Liverpool is ready to follow up this game or to be a part of this Premier League, competition for the trophy 100%. It is obvious that they are falling behind, and they're trying to see what they can clinch on as an excuse for falling behind, if you ask me. Also, we have some amazing stats coming in through also for this dude. The one and only Pep Guardiola played his 1000th game as a coach, and this is what we have to say about it. So Pep as a coach has played 1000 games, and his percentage has been 73%, winning 726 games and drawing 142 games and losing 132 games. He has played 1000 games and he won 726 of them. That is a 73% of the games that he has played. Fantastic game, fantastic stats. I know a lot of people will say, oh, he played with great footballers, but yeah, it's not the easiest to handle footballers. You can ask Arne Slot. It's not the easiest to handle footballers who are phenomenal at their work. You know, individual football is different from playing on a team and a club. This dude also, Pep Guardiola, has redefined how people see soccer, how people, you know, play the game. He started the playing from the back. He started a few other things too, like that. You know, he has redefined how players play, press and cause attack, and also break down defenders and break down defensive backlines. You know, shout out to Pep. 1,000 games, 73%. To me, that is an A, because 70% is actually an A, so 73% is an A. So that is an excellent result from a man I see as a very passionate man for the game of soccer, and also he is a perfectionist. So some people say if that is a sign of probably schizophrenia, I don't know, but he is a perfectionist. He wants to show up every time and wants his boys to be the best of the best of the best. So you can take it away from him. You're seeing it in his results here that he has 73%, which shows you an A, which is amazing, Pep. So we move over to the Chelsea game, where we talk about Malo Gusto scoring his very first senior Premier League goal, his very first career goal as a senior team player. Malo Gusto did it. It was the very first goal of the game. It was a corner kick and it crossed in, and then Malo Gusto, I don't know if it was a corner kick though, it was a cross, and then Malo Gusto headed the ball into the back of the net. It was a nice feeling for the very first time to score your goal like that. So Malo Gusto played very well, and Chelsea came in with, and also yes, Chelsea had this Brazilian trial where João Pedro was given an assist from Esteval, you know, and everyone would say from Esteval to João Pedro, and you know, it was a beautiful thing to watch when you see your countryman supply you the assist, and then you get the goal. You know, it was beautiful. The whole game, it's been a minute when Chelsea won with a clean sheet. So the whole game was phenomenal, if you ask me. And then about the Sunderland versus Arsenal. Sunderland is showing to people that they are a force to reckon with. If you mess up, you are going to find yourself in a very bad shape. Sunderland is not the team that you want to mess up around, because they are giving the feeling that Leicester gave in 2016 when they came from the relegation, when they came from the championship. So watch out for Sunderland. They are not so far in the table. So this is the rundown of the table for week 11. Arsenal is topping it. Arsenal is leading with 26 points. Manchester City with 22 points. Chelsea with 20 points. Sunderland is fourth position with 19 points, just 1 point away from Chelsea and 7 points away from the top. I see something about Manchester City and Arsenal. If Arsenal loses a game, they are going to be in trouble. I will make a prediction though. At the beginning of 2026, I will make a prediction of who I think is going to be the top 4 or the top 6 of this 2025-2026 season. I would make a prediction, but if it's anything that is concerning goals and highest goal scorer, just give highest goal scorer golden boots already to Erling Haaland. Just give that boy the boots. The Viking deserves. So moving forward, 5th position, you're going to find Tottenham. Between Tottenham, you have the 18 points from Tottenham down to 9th position, which is Bournemouth. So you have Tottenham 18 points, Manchester United 18 points, Liverpool 18 points, Bournemouth 18 points. So this is like the top 9, the first half of the league. It's not a lot of spaces. This shows you that the league is very tight. So the people who are doing well are capturing the points away from the people who are going down below. So they're putting a sharp drift, they're putting a sharp gallows for you to differentiate who are going to be the top boys from who are going to just be the the ones who are just out and about, or not even part of the competition. That's one place where Everton has been. They've always been around the out and about. So you just see them, bro. They just be anywhere. Everton. At the end of the day, they are not going to relegation. They are not being relegated, but they are not going to any extra competition. That is classic Everton. So the first 10 positions are manned up with people who have been winning and incurring more points, which is showing that the last 10 positions are going through a lot of whooping right now. So there is a sharp difference. It is 26 points over the tops, and it is 2 points on the 20th position. So you can imagine the last 3 people have 10, 9, and 2 points, which means that the person with the 2 points, which was Wolves, they have been humiliated, annihilated. They are already kicked out. That they would. If they continue like this, they are definitely on the way to leaving the EPL for Championship. I assure you, because it is known that once a team is in this position with this number of points at game 11, they do not survive it. So Wolves might not survive it. Most definitely, they might not survive it. They might be going. This is week 11 is so sudden for you to make these assumptions and these predictions. But I am telling you, Wolves might not make it. So at the top it is 26. Down below it is 22. Down below it is 2 points. Between 2 points and 26 points is 24 points, which means you have to win an average of 8 games non-stop. And which 8 games are Wolves going to win back to back? It is almost impossible. So shout out to everyone that did the watch along with us. We watch along games every week. Every week we are going to be on a break based on the fact that we are right now going through the international break, but we watch games every week. Shout out to everyone that joins us on TikTok. Shout out to everyone who watch our videos on YouTube. We put these videos together to make sure we pass you information that is not the regular information. Here is not a hype ground. Here is classic information for people who understand the game of football. So when you get here to listen to what is going on here, is because you do understand how a football-minded analyst work and you want to understand your game better. So if you are listening to me, man, congratulations, you will understand your game better. We do not have the capacity to talk about all of the games happening at the same time, but we pick a couple of games that are core. We pick the best games of the week to watch along. If you want to know, please join us on Facebook. We stream on Facebook. We live stream on Facebook. All together, we live stream on TikTok. We live stream sometimes on YouTube, but just follow us on every of our social media. It is Soccer Villa 1, and we welcome all of you to come join us, build this community that is going to be exceptionally big and fun. And we can't wait to have you. Thank you. Have a nice week.